the Storm. I'm Axel Tosh, joined by In Control. Just saw an awesome game one.
Yes.
Between Sen and Parting.
And I'll tell you what, there's been a lot of complaints about one-sided matches and relatively bad games. That one was not it. I mean,
No,
it was definitely momentous. Like, once Sen started winning, he kind of didn't look back. But the way he did it and the patience he had and just the decision to execute a strategy that started like 10 minutes earlier and then came to full realization later was just, I loved it. It was great. And it came at a time when people think Zergs can't win a ZVP.
Right. Awesome. Like, coming from a guy who wasn't able to cast an hour and 20-minute game, I feel like that was probably up there as far as quality of gameplay in this tournament.
It's definitely
maybe
up there.
from a personal standpoint. But
it was up there, but it's Parting needed to put up a better fight, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
How often do you hear that? Like, Parting needed to not get his ass
well, let's
kicked
think
so
about
hard.
let's think about that statement though. I mean, he had 5 bases. He was literally hiding
Yeah.
Void Rays in the back of his main. It's just phenomenal reaction there. From
No
Sen.
Templar. That was the problem.
Oh,
So
that's a fantastic point.
I guarantee you I have a certain teammate that out there is saying that too. If there was Templar and he got ran over that bad, then that person
I
would be
agree.
like, well, then he didn't make Tempest.
All right. He had Dark Templar.
He did have Dark Templar. They're of the wrong breed, though. They got to shoot the
gotta be
laser
nice.
bolts out of their heads, and they can do it.
Awesome. All right, so game 2
Yeah.
shall be starting fairly soon.
I think we're ready to go right now, right?
Yeah.
Or,
Oh, am I the host?
yeah,
Let
you're
me-
the guy. You just ask them if they're ready to go, and then
Cool.
Parting says ready. Sen says ready. Let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. Is the red stream done, or they got another match?
Flash.
No, there's Total Biscuit.
3-0'd.
Flash 3-0'd
Ret.
Ret, unfortunately. Actually, this might be, is this the last match?
What do you mean? Today?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think
that
there's
possibly be right?
No, I don't think. I think there's
It's
actually
not 1
2
a.m.,
more.
so I
No,
don't
there's
think-
yeah, there's 2 more after this, I believe.
Well, okay. There
Still
you go.
plenty of matches to come. Again, brackets available, MajorLeagueGaming.com. If you have any questions about that. Let's introduce the players. It's going to be on Daybreak, game number 2 in the bottom left-hand location. We have the Red Protoss player from Team SK Telecom T1. Currently down 1-0, has some work to do. He is Parting. I like it. You can.
You want me to do the other guy?
I would be honored.
I'll
be the disembodied crowd.
In the top right-hand side, from Taiwan, it is Germany Bears Sen. When I don't know how to say a word, I just blur it all together.
Yes.
It is Germany Zen. Yay! All right. Game number 1. Very patient 3 to 4 base macro play from the Zerg. Goes Swarm Host, in control doubts. Sen laughs, says you're an idiot. Proves that is the defensive decision of the decade.
Yep.
Rolls out with Swarm Host, or excuse me, not really with Swarm Host, more like Hydra Roach Viper is what I would say.
He was honestly defensive that whole game
Yeah.
until he literally got the Hydras out and pushed across the map.
It's
and
time
won.
to go, and he did it. And it took Parting by surprise.
Yep.
Parting, a PvZ absolute monster. He was looking to do exactly the same that game, and then in the course of a minute and a half, we're like, wait a second, he's running away.
Yeah.
And then we're like, wait a second, he's losing his bases, he's dead. That was incredible.
It was great. You know, Sen just keeping that bank a mystery. It's really awesome to see.
Yeah, he had the 4-base bank, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
He was just on
what
4
is
base
that?
for so
Parting's
long.
on like +2
Right?
bases. He doesn't have a bank at all. And he's like, where is this Zerg getting this money?
He must, like, I feel like he just made a ridiculous amount of drones and they made all those spines, I guess.
You know what it is?
Huh.
It was that, but it's also, you're right about the spine crawlers, because
Okay.
spine crawlers bought a lot of time.
Yeah.
But it was also that he was never really losing anything. He never like walked
That's a
forward
great
and
point.
lost
Oh my
20
god.
Hydras. Yeah.
Think about his attacking units. They're the Locusts, right?
Yeah.
Those are free, essentially.
He lost little goblets of roaches and a few Hydralisks there and there, and his Corruptors will walk out, but it was always after they killed a Colossus
Right.
or two. It was always after his Stalker
great
wave
point.
sat on top of Locust and died.
Yep.
So he was just super cost effective, like super cost effective.
That is a fantastic point. And, you know, Cloud Kingdom is a great map for that kind of strategy. There are definitely sections of the map where you can really
Yeah.
put those spines, and you have those ramps to use as a force your opponent to go up those ramps, and they're in a choke, and then you have a nice concave naturally. So, you know, Cloud Kingdom is a great map for that. Daybreak, possibly. I mean, the fast 3 bases are pretty standard on this map. Of course, that's what Sen elected to go for.
Yeah.
Cloud Kingdom. So, you know, I dare say we might see the same thing, but, you know, how does Parting change up his play? Like, does he go for a fast 3rd again? You know?
I wouldn't see any reason why not, especially if he scouts a gasless Zerg player. He's like, well, slowlings don't bother me much with the Mama Core, with good position, you know, buildings.
That probe, by the way, is a ninja.
Is it a ninja? Oh,
if
yeah.
he
Oh,
played
whoa,
hide and
whoa.
seek.
That is gorgeous.
Oh, he's gone now.
Peekaboo. Let me ask you this. So
What's
it is
up?
going to be that three hatch gasless. Does the Soul Train come to Daybreak now, or does he use it next game for whatever map that's going to be?
That is a good question. Am I allowed to like wait until the pro?
Absolutely not. You got to predict. That's the fun.
I'm gonna
in
say
it.
no.
You say no?
I'm
I
gonna say
agree
no.
with you. I say it's no as well. I think it's Fast 3. I think it's Fast 3 based, or perhaps Stargate. Stargate was like the 6 Phoenix thing.
Yeah, I think
That's my
Stargate would be a great option on this map. I'm trying to think that probe going to that same spot. What a beast.
It's good to have a probe out there, by the way.
Yes.
Not necessarily to like cannon rush the third, although that is an option. But as we can see here, with the Overlord where it's at, that wouldn't work. But more importantly, to drop the proxy pylon so you can do things like warping off a 4-gate from the 2 base, or just warping in general. Maybe you end up with DTs at minute 25. It's just good to have a probe out on the map, and it's worth hiding.
Is the Sling gonna spot it?
No. Well, it might have, but did it spot it?
No,
Like you have to
I
see on the
don't.
minimap, I
That's
think.
true. Well, the thing about where it was, I don't even think you can see it on the minimap. So that probe is going to be not that could be a little bit dangerous. And obviously, Parting is hiding this here for a reason. So something's going to happen with this guy.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be some sort of 4-gate pressure. I don't expect him to go all in because that's like a big risk on a 4 pylon.
Yeah, doing an all-in at this point. I think there's a Stargate that's going to go on that pylon right up there. No, he's at 54 gas. Maybe. No, there's 3 Stalkers. You're right. You are going to be right. This is going to be a 4-gate. God, you're so smart, actually, Thomas.
No gases there at his natural either. So, the follow-up should be interesting. Like when he adds on those additional gases, like what if he takes a 3rd before doing that? That could definitely be possible. But this could be scary. I'm a little bit.
Well, Sen's going to scout the lack of 3rd and 4th gas.
Oh my God, it's more than 4.
Oh, he's going to go like 5 or 6 gate then. And to your point, there is a transition after this, but I feel like with the gateways going down the way they are, your transition's more likely to be maybe a fast 3rd.
I don't think there's any transition here, my friend.
This is just it's like a 7 gate now, maybe 8 gate eventually.
So he's at 40 harvesters. Let's see how high he goes in those probes. That's gonna be pretty important.
Sen has to know right now, by the way.
Yeah.
But then he made 3 drones. So
what did he scout?
Well, he sees no gas at the 3rd and 4th gate. The 3rd and 4th gas.
He's gonna see a lack of a 3rd here as well with those links.
There's also 3 Stalkers out on the map, although I guess that's kind of reminiscent of game number 1, so maybe he just thinks that's what he does.
Okay, so Parting, he has 7 gates on the field. He's at 42 harvesters, and he is not making any more. +1 ground weapons is about to finish. He has a pylon right outside his opponent's 3rd.
18 lings.
Sen has seen this surely. Okay, 22. I don't even know if this is gonna.
I don't know if lings will be
slow
enough.
Lings.
Yeah. I think this might be one of those really uneventful, just kind of he died.
Yeah, obviously it's worth explaining this as far as this is something you have to scout.
Yeah.
Like either the pro building those pylons, sending an overload in there, seeing those gateways.
Yeah.
But Sen is definitely going to have to forfeit this 3rd, obviously.
Gas is going down in the background. The 3rd will be canceled out. Now remember, the Mama Core has recall ability, so it's not even a given that this army will die. In fact, it really shouldn't. The second the battle turns sour, you just pull out. Here come the slow links. No speed just yet. They do pin a couple Stalkers, but that's just simply not going to be enough. Zealots form their little half circle. There's the time warp.
Oh.
And those roaches are going to take extra damage now. And actually, it just might end right here.
It might. But, Parting did make a couple pros behind that, so he thought about transition, but he's like, you know what? I could probably win. And he's just going to warp in more and more units. Another pylon coming down even closer. 2 Stalkers there being warped in. Drones are going to retreat to the main base, but this is a situation where if you lose your natural, you're definitely going to die.
Yeah.
And already losing the 3rd, it's no fun.
It's got a bunch of roaches coming out, but the Stalkers have already just destroyed the drone count. And now there's so many Stalkers here, the roaches actually are not really pairing very well with this either. Zealots still doing their work at the back of the mineral line at the natural. The final 2 roaches at the low ground are going to go down. The couple at the top of the ranch should as well. And Sen should be thinking about game 3. There it is, 1-1 in this best of 5.
Very straightforward game there. That probe was an MVP. Like that's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
If you're able to get that probe down, if you're able to get that probe hidden. Zergling ran right by him.
Yes. Well, that you actually bring up a really good point, because a lot of times this is a build that you have in your repertoire for a best of 3 or best of 5 where you say, if something tips me off and I feel like I can do this, I'm going to do it. Now, there's a couple things that made him think he could do it. The gasless opening from Sen. That means he's not going to be facing speedlings, which are more likely to kill the pylons, which then allow you to warp that in. But also, he's not worried about things like super fast Swarmhost or Burrow. If those things show up, this push has a lot.
It's way before.
It's a lot more likely it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
But because it was a gasless opening, he said, okay, I think I could do that. Now, when his probe, as you said, is MVP in it behind that gas tank and is like, no one sees me.
Did you know about that spot?
No, I didn't actually.
I feel like people watching this game, like, you're privileged because I didn't know about that spot, but I'm definitely going to use it in my ladder games.
And when do you learn something about Daybreak, by the way?
I know. How long has that spot been there?
Forever, I guess, but Harding knew about it, the rest of us did, and that's kind of what he does. But uneventful otherwise. It's interesting for us in the spectrum of like a series.
Right.
But if this was a stream game, I would have been Alt-Tab doing something else.
Yeah, well, yeah. Because you can still hear the commentators. That's the thing.
Well, I mean, what I mean is like a stream game, like if he was laddering and he was like, I'm going to 7-gate this guy, I'd be like, I'm going to go watch and see
I see what you're saying.
see if someone's yelling at someone on stream or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, those games will happen. And, you know, kudos to Harding coming up with that build. You know, the best players are going to have those builds in place for those best of 5. So that means this series is going to be tied 1-1. You're watching Harding versus Sen at the 2013 MLG Winter Championships. Dunk winner coming up. It's going to be Game 3.